Yipee-Ki-Yay, Mr. Falcon.
I sent you a reel this week that I can't stop thinking about because it like kind of pissed me off. Not this reel in particular, but just it was a piling on of a movie that I used to like an awful lot, and apparently you're not allowed to like it much anymore. You ever hear
Kevin Spacey will do that to you?
Yeah, and I fully admit that. And we're going to have to just ignore that part of this. I understand why the internet turned against this. It's American Beauty we're talking about from 1999. I've noticed this. You said that this guy is named Jason Pargin. I don't know how to pronounce it. I've only ever read the name. You see his face all the time. Once you see it once, the algorithm stuffs it down your throat. He does reels about pop culture for the most part. He's an author, all right? And he went after American Beauty. And I've noticed this is like a popular movie from the 90s for people to go after, not just because Spacey's in it, but because a lot of people insist it's extremely dated, like to the point of being unwatchable, especially to younger people.
I didn't see that at all. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, you're familiar with this movie, right? You watched it recently, you said.
Yeah, to be fair, like I had seen it when it came out, hadn't watched it since, and then when you mentioned you wanted to, talk about it, I rewatched it.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
I didn't see anything about this that was dated at all. And that was even after listening to their points in the reels. I don't agree.
Well, that's really interesting that you haven't seen it since it came out. That's wow.
I thought about that as well, because if you think about it, when I originally saw it, I guess my perspective in 1999 would have been more from like the teenager's perspective.
Yeah.
And now I'm in my 40s, so I'm kind of at Kevin Spacey's junction in life, So I watched it in a very different way this time.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, and exactly. Like I remember I had a crush on Thora Birch because we were her age. Like we were in high school. They were in high school. Like that's exactly it. And he's, I think, Lester, the father, I think is supposed to be 40.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, you're definitely getting the midlife crisis vibes here.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I think I'm gonna let's pick apart this asshole's reel first. Let's start there.
Sure.
Just because like he's normally pretty spot on. I kind of like him, but it's funny he just made shit up about this movie, like a lot of people do, and I wonder if that's because they have more of a hazy recollection of it, rather than having seen it recently. And it is a 90s movie, but it just because it was made in 99. And you can say that for any movie that's of its time and not trying to be nostalgic about a previous time. Like, I don't know why this one is special. Everyone dresses like they did in the 90s, and there's a lot of 90s concerns, but we'll get into that. But all right, so his first critique of this movie, he said, Kevin Spacey aside, which is fine. He said he's playing a distinctly 1999 character, a 40-year-old man who makes a ton of money at an easy job, who lives in a beautiful house and is deeply unhappy. He doesn't want all this middle-aged comfort. He wants to be in high school again, wants to work in a fast food restaurant and drive a muscle car and date high school girls, which I guess was a kind of a jab at Kevin Spacey at the end, which is weird because he's gay as far as I understand, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about what he does. But first off, we have to understand how big this movie was when it came out. Like, this was like one of the biggest Oscar bait movies of the decade, just rounding out a decade of like incredibly high profile Oscar movies, right? This is very popular. Like, people were very, very into this movie. And as he points out in that reel, Fight Club came out not too long after this, or right around the same time. And despite how people feel about that movie now, it tanked in the theater. It did not do well. But let's talk about this characterization of Lester. Makes a 40-year-old man, yeah, he's 40, makes a ton of money at an easy job.
Well,
I
Did
don't
they say
know
how much he
about
made?
that.
Because I know the severance package was 60,000, and I know adjusted for inflation, it would have to be more now. But
Yeah, I mean,
I got the sense that he was looking for his full salary in the severance anyway. So
that's what I assumed. Yeah, for what, a year,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that how
Yeah.
he does it? So he makes 60 grand a year in 1999. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good. Like if you made
yeah,
in the mid 40s to 50, you were doing well. But they also live in California, I believe, in the suburbs. We can maybe even assume the suburbs of LA somewhere. Cost of living is pretty high there. All right. Well, he has a decent white collar job for the time. All right. I wouldn't say he makes a ton of money. If he was making six figures back then, that was a ton of money. They were doing well. They were upper middle class at the time, right?
and she was the real estate, person bringing in a lot of money herself. So,
Yeah, she had another job, sure, but they had one kid, so they didn't have a. They're living well. They're living comfortably. They have two cars. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be the American dream: the picket fence, two cars in the garage, yada yada yada. But I wouldn't call it a ton of money at an easy job. We see where he works in the very beginning. He is in a cubicle with a shitty boss, like half his age, and who knows if it's an easy job? Like, what's easy? Is a soul-sucking job that you have to do day after day after day, is that easy? I mean, you could characterize any job you sit at a desk to do as easy from certain points of view, right?
Yeah, for real. I mean, I didn't really think it was important whether or not he enjoyed the job or whether or not he was making a ton of money. When we say, I mean, who was it that said this? We'll say the real, because I'm not going to remember the guy who made it.
He's not going to listen.
The real said that it was so 90s for him to have it all and be so unappreciative of it. And I was like, this is a tale of as old as time. We got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because we were given paradise and we said, what else you got?
Throwing it back, but you're 100% right. You're 100%.
It's not unique to say, like, it's timeless to say, like, listen, like, you don't appreciate what you have until maybe it's too late. I know we're getting into the end of the movie when I say this, but at the end of the movie, he appreciates what he has, and then he dies.
Very true, very true. But and it also, it's what lesson. This story has been told over and over with different goals, right? Like a lot of times, it's a lesson against greed, maybe. I think in this one, it's more of a lesson of, I
liked his other movie about greed better.
What am I not thinking of?
Seven.
Seven. God
Seven.
damn, yeah. Fine.
Sorry. Continue.
No. It's about, it's just about humility, I think, in a certain way, but it's also about materialism. It's also a big questioning of what is the American dream, and how distracted we can get by things that we overlook all the good things that are right in front of us, which is not exactly an original idea, but in this context, I think that's what they were going for. I don't look at Lester as this fucking asshole. He's got such a nice house and a job. What's he got to complain about? That's a really narrow way to look at people. And I mean, if you're gonna look at it as this guy, he's got a great house and a great wife and a great job and all that, if only I could get there. I promise you, there's going to come a time in your life when you have certain things and you're not going to appreciate it because people always kind of look at the grass on the other side. And I just want to say, if my wife is listening to this, I love you dearly. This is not about me. I'm just saying, No, but they have a name for this for a reason. It's called a midlife crisis for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what Lester's going through. It's a midlife crisis because he's in a loveless marriage that was once good and lost its way somewhere. He's got a kid who doesn't respect him at all because there's not much to respect. He has a job that doesn't do anything. He doesn't feel accomplished. He doesn't produce anything. And all he can do is wish he could have some fucking fun like he did when he was a kid. The last time he remembers being free in his mind and having fun. And in his naive attempt to recapture that in his midlife crisis, he does some goofy shit. The quitting the job part is fucking epic. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
I mean, they do it two different ways in this movie and in Fight Club. They quit their job and demand their salary, and both are equally awesome. But can't you? Looking at this as a 40-year-old, I get it, and even as a teenager, I really got it, because I had that streak when I was late in high school. Man, you look down the barrel of life, and you see it all lined up. And this is not an original thought either, but you see that path. It's like, well, what do you do after high school? You go to college. Well, then what do? You get a job. Well, what do you do? Well, if you're lucky, you get married and you have some kids, and then you can't quit your job because then you're going to have a mortgage and then you got the kids to take care of. So you're going to keep trying to get a better job, and all of a sudden you're fucking dead. And it sounds like a complaint of privilege, maybe, but still, it's not a fulfilling path alone without anything else, And I think a lot of people felt that way back then, that there was and things were getting shitty at the end of the 90s.
Yeah.
Wages weren't already, if you look at the charts, it's obvious, but wages weren't keeping up with inflation and cost of living. Money was worth less every year. And you were 2 years away from 9/11 when shit started to get really weird. And then 2008, it was the last time that these were the concerns at the forefront of people. But couldn't you also say that this movie is like a kind of a harbinger, that telling the audience sort of, we've been working toward the wrong things and it might bite us in the ass really soon? I don't know. That's just musings.
It's very interesting that, was Fight Club the same year? No, Fight Club would have been around the same time, right?
Same year, 99, both 99.
So very similar messages to have come out in the same year.
Dude, get this shit. You know what else came out in 99? Office Space.
Wow.
I've often thought of those three movies as like the trilogy of 90s discontent, and I did not realize they all came out in the last fucking year of the decade.
I mean, Office Space might be a little different. I mean, maybe I'm thinking of it as different because it's a comedy, but at the same time, I don't want to say that they hated their jobs in Office Space. Like, so much of that was that they were upset about the culture.
I think Peter just hated working in Office Space.
Yeah. I mean, because like the other friends were like, "Oh, it'd be nice to be working here 30 years in the same soulless job, for the same soulless money. It would be great to have that kind of security."
Yeah.
And it's only when they're told, like, tomorrow morning you're going to get fired, that they all start to, exact their revenge. But,
it's that question,
I
though.
don't know.
It's that question you always end up asking, like, is this all there is? Shouldn't there be something more to life? I get the fact that Office Space ends with him apparently finding more happiness in a blue collar job, but still running into the same bullshit is very telling. But all right, wait. Did
he run into the same bullshit? I remember it ending with him like shoveling up the red stapler, but I didn't. There was nobody like pinning flare on his construction vest.
No, but if I recall, it's been a little bit since I've seen the very end. But if I recall, one of the foreman on the site says something very similar to what one of his bosses used to say in the office.
Like a case of the Mondays or something?
Not that bad, but yeah, like it's like you get the feeling that like, oh God, it's at some point it's all the fucking same. But back to American Beauty. Sure. Lester aside, well, the other criticism this dude from The Real had was that this movie aged poorly because the other protagonist, who's the weird kid, what the fuck was his name? I always forget his name. The actor ended up on Yellowstone.
Ricky.
Yeah, Wes Bentley played Ricky. Yeah. He's the kid it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, that's the thing they made fun of this movie about almost as much as the soundtrack and the flowers.
Yeah, the paper bag or whatever.
Yeah, the plastic bag, and he filmed everything. That was his thing. He had a little camcorder when they finally got small enough to be like palm quarters, and he wore a beanie and filmed everything and sold weed. And I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and I didn't agree with this criticism either, but go ahead.
Yeah, and the guy from Real made it sound like that was the only interesting thing about his character, and that's fucking wrong. But,
or that was his whole personality.
Yeah, that's what he said. Right, and that's couldn't be. I mean, no, that's just not true. I think that's wrong. But the thing he was trying to say was that's so common in this day and age that people film things happening in their everyday life all the time that kids wouldn't be able to relate to how weird that was in 1999. I think that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, no. I mean, you have a guy that's like staring out of his window at the girls, while they're getting dressed and all of that. I mean, it's weird. No matter what era you put it in, you put a camera in the person's face, and it's even weirder.
Yeah, but I think
no, it was weird. You think?
No. The thing about in American Beauty, the filming is that there might be something you should have to explain to kids, maybe just like a context, but it's not the fact that he was filming everything all the time without people's consent, which is problematic even then, but it was that what the fuck is he doing with the footage? Like back then, there was no YouTube. So the first thing you would ask someone is, why are you filming? Right? So it's not like he was posting reels on Instagram. It's not like he was vlogging. Like that shit was barely even a thing yet. He was taking these tapes home and God knows what with them. And that's the creepy thing, man. That's why people were afraid of him and thought he was creepy. It's like, what the fuck are you filming me for, dude? It's not that he was filming I think if he was 25 living in New York City at the time, nobody would have batted an eye. It's an incomplete criticism.
What I didn't like about it was that he was saying that, yes, there are characters in movies who like their whole personality is just that they go around and film things just because. Yeah. I've seen movies like that. I did not think that this was that, because what I got the sense of was that this is a character who finds beauty in everything, or the little things in life. And he wants to capture that beauty. He wants to, memorialize it or catalog it, let's say. And so this character is supposed to be the antithesis of Lester, who sees the beauty in nothing in his life, even though he has like all this great stuff, the American dream, the wife, the cars, the job, the house, all that. Whereas Ricky has arguably nothing, and he's finding beauty in like the plastic bag blowing around in the wind.
And you could argue that Ricky's entire outlook on life is kind of part of what shakes Lester loose, and reminds him of his youth. And if you want to get really symbolic about it, you could say that the way Ricky looks through his camera at the world is kind of the way Lester started looking through the world through Ricky's eyes, younger eyes. But also and I would submit too, how is this any different than someone who takes candid photographs on the street? Like, that's a very accepted art form, right? This was just an attempt to update that for what was the emerging they didn't know the technology would only be around for a couple of years. Like, they didn't know the fucking iPhone was coming or the camera phones, but is it not telling that this is something people have integrated into their lives so much in modern society? And just after a couple years, just a few years earlier, it would have been extremely strange. I think that's a point in the movie's favor,
Yeah.
All right, fine.
I mean, this was the Academy Award for Best Picture winner that year.
It was.
I wouldn't say that it beat out massive competition. It beat out The Green Mile, The Sixth Sense, Cider House Rules. But yeah, I would say that it deserved it. This was not, in the last episode, we were talking about the movies of 1996 and how The English Patient might have been like the worst movie nominated for Best Picture that year, and it still beat out Fargo. This, I would say, deserved to win. It's an excellent film.
I would.
You know, it has a lot to say about life, and I would say that it's timeless. It's not dated at all.
That's it. It has a lot to say. Yeah, you might need a little context to fully understand every aspect of it. But you could say that for a lot of movies and made in a lot of different times. So seeing it at your age, was there anything else that jumped out at you? Anything that you didn't remember?
What jumped out at me was that, going back a couple episodes now, this is now the second movie in a row we've talked about, and maybe the second of three movies, or really all of the movies that I know of Mina Suvari in, where somebody's trying to take her virginity.
Holy shit, you're right. This is unplanned.
Like the Rage Carrie 2, she jumps off the roof because the kid from Home Improvement takes her virginity. In this, Lester's trying to hit that the whole movie.
Gross,
and then you got American Pie, where Oz Striker is
son of a bitch. You're fucking right. God damn, she really got typecast hard out of the gate. That's a shame.
And then nothing else after that. Like once we were at an age where Mina Savari's virginity was no longer on the line, no more casting of Mina Suvari in anything, right? I'm sure she's in stuff now. I don't know.
You got to just blame Big Hollywood, those bastards at Miramax, But okay, go ahead.
The one thing that I would say I maybe found a little dated about it was the argument for Annette Bening's character to stay was, what are you going to divorce me for? I haven't cheated on you, like I haven't hit you or anything, Yeah. And I'm like, yo, dude, she could just walk out the door right now. She doesn't need a reason to divorce somebody. You got irreconcilable differences for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess from a plot perspective, they just needed something to keep her there.
Yeah. They needed that, and they needed the red herring to make you think she might kill him.
Yeah.
But also it might have been a way of him saying that, you wouldn't get what you need to survive if we divorced in alimony or whatever. Meaning she couldn't make it on her own. Maybe that was what the argument really was. And maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think, yeah. I don't know. I don't think that you needed it. Like, I think if she had just, like, if they had, because at one point later in the movie, he stresses that their marriage is this sham for the sake of appearances or whatever. Mm-hmm. They could have played it where, she wants to leave him, or, he's pushing her to leave him. But at the same time, she's like, oh, but then what will everyone think? And I think that would have played into what they were trying to get at much better. No, you saw it more recently than I did. Did Lester find out about her banging the other real estate agent guy?
Yes.
He did find out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not banging, but they were making out in the car
right, in the
on the way to the drive-through.
That's right.
And he hands them the two bags and says like, "Oh, I got you now." Like, what do you got? Well, you could have left her too. I don't know.
That would have been another reason for her that she wouldn't be getting any alimony too. It's just all contributes to her feeling trapped. True. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it contributes to her feeling trapped, which is also it's what everyone in the entire movie is going through. They all feel trapped by different things. Both of the kids feel trapped by their families and all the circumstances surrounding those. Ricky has a worse time of it than Jane does, of course. Lester feels trapped by everything in his life, as does Carolyn. And they go about it in different ways. He buys a car and quits his job. She has an affair and buys a gun. Everyone deals with their shit in a different way. But that's the point. It's like everyone trapped by prisons of their own design. The neighbor.
Yeah, and I would say Angela is terrified of being this, ordinary, country bumpkin, whatever. So she makes up this persona of being this model and this, I'm going to use the word slut, even though she's not.
But
she would like people to believe that she is, Yeah,
well, she tells stories about like banging people to get roles. Like she's trapped by society's expectations of women. you know, and you could say that, I mean, Colonel Fitz, the neighbor, Ricky's father, you know, he's trapped by all kinds of shit. You know, a lifetime of repression and, you know, everything the military did to him. And good Lord, his wife was terrifyingly sad. She was, that's always
Allison
rough.
Janney.
All right, I want to talk about one scene in particular, and since you just saw it, you might remember. And it's.
I hope I remember, but I'm not that far gone.
It was always one of the most infuriating scenes to me, and I have to admit I see it from a different perspective now, but it still infuriates me. It's the scene where you almost think Lester and Carolyn are going to have a moment when she comes home, and I think he's drinking a beer on the couch. And they start talking about the old days, right? And they almost kiss. And then she stops him because he's about to accidentally pour beer on the couch. And he freaks out and he's just like, it's just a fucking couch, right? When I was a kid, I was totally on Lester's side. Like, I remember feeling like, oh my God, seriously, right? Like, wouldn't the moment be worth like barely a stain on some fucking couch, right? As an adult, you know, you gotta wonder how much they paid for that couch. It looked like a nice couch. Looked like an expensive couch. And when you ruin things that you paid a lot of fucking money for, that does tend to piss you off. But I don't know. I want to ask you a question. Growing up, did you in your house or did you know anyone who had a house with a room that you really weren't supposed to go in or sit in the furniture?
No.
No? We didn't have one. But I had... No, this wasn't
nice
a thing.
Pillows that we weren't allowed to use.
Nice pillows.
I don't know.
Decorative soap.
That always confused the hell out of me. Like, why can't I use the pillow? Why is this pillow here if we're not allowed to sit on it?
That's the guest soap. It's for the guests, but you don't let the guests use it either. It's too pretty to use.
Exactly.
I ran into this more than once in my childhood. Like, I knew my mom had a friend and they had a kid similar to my age. We'd go over there all the time. They had a fucking pool too. So they did not live in a super nice house. Like, it was a normal, like, fucking split level Jersey, nothing fancy, right? They had a whole room on the right side of the stairs when you came in that you didn't go in. And it wasn't just us kids. Like, they had a living room on the left side of the house. This was like a sitting room. You know, the carpet was always perfectly vacuumed, all in the same direction, and it was like there was like a Queen Anne chair and some fancy fucking sofa and like a real pretty coffee table, and you know those, I don't know, that fucking, what are they called? Those cabinets with glass where you just show knickknacks and shit. You know, shit.
Sure. Curio?
Yeah, a curio cabinet. Very good. Thank you. And I think, and if I remember right, that was the room where there was a fireplace that no one ever used with an immaculately decorated mantle, right? And I knew someone else that had a room very similar to that. And
well, my wife's family had a room like that, but like they were allowed to go in it. Like, we were always encouraged. Like, when I would go over there, you know, they'd want you to. Oh, you're gonna read? Why don't you go sit up in the sitting room and read?
Okay, you know, maybe you were good kids. Maybe they just thought we were dirty.
Well, we were adults by then, so maybe I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Like, I thought, okay, when you get to be an adult, that's just how things happen. But now that I'm an adult and I have a house, I would never not use a room.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I would never, just to fill it with pretty things that are literally useless because you don't want to sit on them. I get that, and I still get that, and I always got that. But that scene, man.
Yeah.
That scene.
Well, I think the thing with the scene, and it did. Okay, so one of the other things is that you're not supposed to root for Kevin Spacey's character, I would imagine. Like, I guess you are in the sense that he's the protagonist. It's kind of like in Psycho when he pushes the car into the swamp and it stops and you're like, your heart skips a beat. And you're not supposed to want him to get away with this, but he's the main character and we're following along with this guy. So, like, I guess she's the bad guy in this situation, even though the movie would tell you he is wrong. You know, like, I don't know.
Well, all right. So the movie's telling you you're supposed to relate to Lester because he does the voiceover, Okay, like
Right.
we're with him. He's our narrator, essentially, our unreliable narrator. It turns out, but he's our narrator. But that doesn't mean you have to like. I feel like the whole time you're watching the movie, you're like, "Yeah, Lester, I get you, man, but this is not the right way to go about this, bro." Like,
Sure.
yeah, like I understand, but you're making bad choices, Lester. You know what I mean? Like, and he always goes like a little too far, right? It's like, yeah, all right, you're gonna start smoking weed.
A lot too far.
I get it, man, but you're gonna just start smoking weed in the garage with your buddies, your neighbor's kid. Like, okay, see, that's too far.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
I mean, he like buys the what was it, the Firebird?
Yeah, I think, or a
without
Mustang.
talking to the wife about it.
Yeah. Or the job thing. It's like you want a job with less responsibilities that doesn't feel like a dead end cubicle job. You don't have to quit your job and threaten your boss and go work at a fast food place. Like there's other ways to go about this, but other than it wouldn't be an interesting movie. But good. I'm glad
Sure.
you felt that way, especially with the bookending it of seeing it when it came out and seeing it now. That you don't feel like it's dated. That makes me feel less crazy.
No, and according to my IMDb ratings, I gave this a 9 out of 10, which would have been around the time it came out. So I gave it a 9 out of 10 then. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 now.
Damn,
you know,
have
I
the
liked it then at that perspective.
You have the same account since 1999?
Of course I have the same. Like, I opened IMDb. Like, I got an account when it came out. What, am I going to make another account?
Oh, man. Do you remember the message boards before Amazon bought it? No? Oh, man.
The IMDb message boards,
Yeah.
or just message boards in general?
IMDb boards.
No, I don't remember. I remember the like the trivia area and how you could like submit. I mean, you can still submit trivia, but I remember we submitted trivia. Do you remember, for a movie that came out that like one of our professors worked on? You know?
Oh, yes. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I remember like the idea, but no, I don't remember.
Oh, I used to love the message
I
boards.
just like the idea that like since the 1990s, I've got this like running tab of how I felt about, you know, every movie I've seen.
That's
you know?
impressive, man. There's not too many websites even that you could say that about. That's pretty cool.
No, I can't even think of very many websites that I still use from that era. Because even Google was a little later than 1999, right?
Yeah. It didn't. We were still using like Excite and Dogpile and shit. Yahoo
Remember
was
in
like
Frequency,
the big one.
like the magic word that he like uses to make millions of dollars was Yahoo. Like they were like, you got to put stock in Yahoo.
Yahoo.
I hope he sold that before it got too late.
Shit. Also, Scott Bakula showed up in this movie. I just want to point that out. We can't overlook that. Scott Bakula. It's a rare thing for him to show up in a movie. So, how about Fight Club? Have you seen that since it came out?
Yes.
Okay.
I love Fight Club. I mean, I don't know that I'll ever truly 100% understand it.
Yeah.
Like, I think
I'm with you.
you're not supposed to want to root for Tyler Durden, which means that, like, you probably shouldn't take, like, his lessons about life and society on face value. So when he says, like, all of this anti-materialistic stuff, I don't know that you're supposed to look at that and say, yes, he's right, you're not your fucking khakis. I don't know. Like, I read once that the message of the story is like, you know, like what you want to like, you know. And I'm like, wow, I don't know that I totally got that from the movie, but sure.
Yeah. I don't think you're exactly supposed to think he's wrong either. I don't
know.
You're right. I'm not going to ever pretend to fully understand the movie. I read the book too, and it didn't help.
And the sequel's sequel.
Yeah, I read the sequel too. It wasn't great. I didn't go any further
It was
than that.
dog shit. Oh my god.
Okay.
It was dog shit.
Yeah, it was bad. And I like Chuck Palahniuk. I've read a lot of his books, and that one just wasn't there.
Yeah, and I really liked the way that the book ends. That's different from the movie. Is that he's in this you know, like we'll call it a mental hospital, you know, like a psych ward kind of thing, and he's hoping to get treatment, and the orderlies come in. And they're like, "Don't worry, Mr. Durden, we've got this under control."
It's a great ending. It's a great ending. But from the movie, and I loved the movie. I watched it way too much, and apparently I'm one of the lucky ones who didn't come out horribly scarred.
Sure.
I thought the message of it was that human society is just cyclical. That once it gets to a point where people are too comfortable, we get anxious and nutty because we're not built for it exactly. And we start to crave something more primitive until we bring that primitive thing about. And then we just start building up society again until we do the same thing over and over and over again in just different ways. Maybe that's just too on the nose, but I thought that was one of the primary messages of it. And I just think the other primary message is no matter what, people are going to find a way to be discontented and unhappy if they're not fulfilled, you know? I had a vague memory of something from a sociology class about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and then I lost it. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I remember the name. You can think about it,
and then we can pause the show, and you can come back when you remember.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I'm sure it wasn't that interesting. But again, that's another movie that gets a lot of shit, and the shit directed to Fight Club. Yeah, the shit directed toward Fight Club is that it bred ideas of toxic masculinity in people who didn't understand it. And apparently,
I guess that's fair.
And I can't argue that that's not true because a lot of people did take it the wrong way, as in, I want to start a fight club. But you know that when they were making the movie, they fully knew that was going to be part of it. So whatever, man. I don't know. I still like it. I should rewatch it. It's been a while.
It's one of those things where I'm waiting for the 4K edition. You know, for years, every time something stupid like every time something stupid like Coneheads or Harry and the Hendersons came out on 4K, I'd be like, we don't have Sunset Boulevard yet. Right. And so they finally released Sunset Boulevard for the anniversary. Yes, and now I've shifted over to Fight Club. I'm like, this, and we don't have Fight Club.
All right, I can get behind that.
We skipped over the Fight Club anniversary. It would have been last year, so now we got to wait.
Oh, what, the 40th? 30th?
So I guess it would have been 99 would be the anniversary, right? So like the 25th or the 35th anniversary. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. Yeah, Fight Club 1999. Yeah. So yeah.
Damn, that's a shame.
Yeah, so I mean, like in theory, I'd like to wait for that, you know, but at the same time, we might get to a point where I just do it.
It'd be really interesting to see what those CG effects look like on a 4K transfer.
Were there CG effects in that movie? Well, I mean, there were the explosions at the end. What did they do?
Well, in my head, I'm thinking about the intro, that whole flying through the neurons and then coming out of his mouth into the gun barrel and that impossible close-up that merges into a real shot. Him getting shot in the face, in the mouth, you know?
I'll have to watch that. Yeah, I remember of it. I don't remember how it looked, you know, like... down to the detail. Yeah, I don't know.
I got 12 Monkeys on 4K. That looked great.
That's a good movie, too.
Did you get Sunset Boulevard?
Of course I got Sunset Boulevard.
Have you watched it,
I've been bitching about it for like
I know, but have you watched
it?
Have you watched it?
I did. It looks beautiful.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean,
I got it, too.
I read some critiques of it that I don't think are necessarily fair. And I mean the transfer, not necessarily the movie.
Sure.
But, you know, it's beautiful, and it's such an old movie that, you know, you got to figure this is probably the best they could do. It's the best it's ever looked at home, you know, why not?
I love black and white on a good 4K transfer. It's kind of magic.
It shouldn't work, but it does. I don't know what to tell you.
You know, and I read online, on Reddit and such, on movie subs, I read younger people say that they're surprised by how good and detailed, you know, it looks. And just because it wasn't color didn't mean it wasn't high res and that there wasn't some amazing camera work done.
Yeah, I mean, what surprises me about it is that the reason that you buy a 4K Blu-ray is either for the HDR coloring or the Dolby Atmos sound.
Yeah.
The pixels alone should not be enough, because the human eye at certain sizes, like depending on how big your TV is not really going to detect the difference between 1080p and 4K on face value. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about a movie like Sunset Boulevard, which will not have colors and will not have Dolby Atmos sound, you know, like, where are you getting the benefit? But it still works. I mean, they use the HDR to really make, like, I don't know, 10 million gradients between black and white.
Right.
And black and gray and white.
And the shadows look richer and lines look crisper. And I think it helps. I think it helps. And yeah, the sound is improved too, but that's coming from people who grew up with tapes. So if you put the Blu-ray next to a 4K, I would still be able to tell the difference, but would it matter so much on a black and white movie? It depends. I guess it depends. But I'll tell you, the color grading on other films, that's something where it can be, you were just talking about Sorcerer. You saw that, right? You saw that on 4K?
Yes. I don't know if I saw it on 4K. I got it digitally.
Okay.
I don't remember whether I have it in 4K or HD.
That's one I got on 4K, and man, they did a great job with the color grading. And like, there's examples, right, where they've really changed it from what people are used to. I think in efforts to get it back to what it was supposed to look like in the theater. I can't think of a specific movie at the moment, of course, because
the two big ones that get the most crap are Halloween and The Exorcist.
The original Halloween.
Every time one of those two movies comes out, the color timing, I should say, changes dramatically. And, you'll have people who say, no, I remember vividly sitting in the movie theater in 1978.
Yeah,
this
right.
is exactly what it looked like. And then other people will say, like, no, it's too blue now. I don't know. I mean, so there's a lot of fans online that try to rescue movies, like especially with the Star Wars films. And I remember they were doing it with the Phantom Menace, and they were throwing it out for, people to say, like, what do you think of the color timing that we're doing here with this? And I'm like, if anybody tells you exactly what the color timing looked like from a movie they saw in the movie theater in 1999, they've got to be lying to you.
It must be.
There's your memory and how your memory perceives things and how, just can't. You can't.
And on top of it,
unless it's like dramatically different, like with The Matrix where they tinted the movie green for like half the film,
But also, it also depends on the theater you saw it in too, in some cases.
Yeah.
There's a couple...
Shape of the print, everything.
There are a couple shitty old theaters here. There was one near us called the Lumberton 2 in a strip mall. There were crickets in the theater. You'd hear them. And everything always looked a little too green. Always. So, I mean... And also, yeah, dude, you're mixing memories that you had from something you saw in the theater too, probably with something you saw 4 or 5 times on cable and... on a shitty TV and on VHS, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just the final form. I guess if the original director is still alive and they can have some input, I guess that matters, right? But I just watched 4K of Halloween for the first time on Halloween, and I'm a real original guy.
It's an
thought
excellent
it looked
film
really
to watch on
good.
Halloween.
I thought it looked really good.
Yeah.
I know that movie pretty well and pretty shitty versions, and there was nothing that stood out to me that was like, oh wow, they really fucked that one up. Like everything looked good to me.
No, I mean with Halloween they don't change it. I wouldn't say like they noticeably change it. You got to look at this is so crazy to say. You got to look at the color of the leaves. Because the color of the leaves change like every time they put the movie out. Like, sometimes it's totally green. Other times they're like, no, it's fall. They should be orange. And yes, that's a major difference to impart onto the film. Like, especially if you're saying it's fall, they ought to be orange.
Yeah.
Well, what were they when it was in the theater in 1978?
They filmed the movie in summer. Like, that's the famous thing of the production, that they had to paint hundreds of leaves and toss them around just so it vaguely looked like it could be the beginning of autumn. I did notice that, though. The grass looked remarkably green. Like just a little too saturated, just a tiny bit.
Greens and reds are always tough.
Yeah. But other than that...
But I mean, is it going to impact, your enjoyment of the film if the leaves are, a little less green or a little more yellow? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, I'd still like to have it as accurately as it can be, but,
It bothers me more when scenes that are supposed to be dark are brightened too much. And that could have easily been done with Halloween. Yeah, or vice versa. Yeah. I remember there was a Blu-ray transfer of The Godfather that was so bright and so orange. I just couldn't watch it.
That was the only Blu-ray transfer of The Godfather.
Was it? I think it was like called the Coppola Restoration or something, and it was fucking horrendous.
Yeah, I think The Godfather is one of those event movies where there's a DVD, a Blu-ray, a 4K, and after that they can put it out in as many different packaging styles as they want, but the discs don't change from, yeah.
Well, I got a pretty sweet bootleg on eBay of the Godfather 1 and 2 cut together.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Truthfully, I haven't watched it since I bought it, but I did get it.
Yeah, we watched
it around the time I got the 4K Blu-ray. Yeah.
4.5 hours, man. Jesus God. I felt
like it was the only special feature that was really missing that I ought to have had, so I picked it up.
I got something weird recently on 4K since we're on this. Did you ever hear of a movie called The Keep?
No.
It's one of Michael Mann's first movies, and it's got an interesting cast. It's got Ian McKellen, which in some really bad aging makeup that they ditched after like 20 minutes for plot reasons. It's kind of like the vibe is different, but there's like an Indiana Jones-ish flavor to it in that it's Nazis during the war going after occult shit. I don't know. It's pretty neat. And it's got some super 80s effects on it that look pretty cool. I could definitely see why people don't like it, but I was glad I picked it. It was a blind purchase just because of who directed it. And apparently it's...
So has he made like 6 or 7 different cuts of this too?
No. This is it. We got... This is the cut that ended up on 4K apparently is what people saw in theaters. Apparently there was I don't know, VHS and DVD versions where they cut chunks out that were in the theatrical version.
So he did. Okay, yes. This is so Michael Mann.
Yeah, yeah, I guess it is. I guess
this is
he
the
did
crap
do
I
it
deal
again.
with Manhunter. You know.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's
I've been like
reading
7 or 8
that.
different cuts of that movie. Even I have lost track of which is which at this point. I threw my hands up in the air. I gave up.
I've gotten on a kick with a few directors. Michael Mann's one of them, and De Palma is the other. I've been trying to gather almost everything that they've made. A couple of De Palma's later ones I'm not going to buy. I'm not getting Snake Eyes. It's not happening. But I think it's a worthy quest. And then
Sure.
Then I'm going to move on to, I have a lot of them, but I'm going to try to complete my collection of Stephen King movies. It's next. It's going to hurt.
That's got to be a decent chunk too. I don't know.
Man, it's deeply ambitious. I'm going to regret it, I think.
I feel like I've lost track of a lot of them if they've been continuing to do it recently. Like I know they made like the It movies pretty recently.
Yeah.
But I feel like because I don't follow him as an author as much anymore, as much as I did when I was younger, there could be movies that are being made that I might not even realize are Stephen King movies.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And plus they're also mining all his old shit too as much as possible, and if you combine it with his son's stuff, I've never seen authors that get adapted to film more. But yeah, he's done a few things that are not exactly horror that you definitely might not have known were made. Like, did you see Gerald's Game?
No.
Did you see 1922 with Thomas Jane? No. Yeah, there's a lot, dude. There's a lot in the last decade or so. Jesus Christ, that they made a Pet Sematary prequel. That doesn't really count because he didn't write it, but Jesus, they're just...
Well, they did. I remember they did Dr. Sleep. I saw that, and I saw the 2 It's. Those were the ones that stood out to me at least. Like, oh, this is a Stephen King thing.
Yeah.
I saw 11/22/63, which I loved the book. The show was okay, but
the Franco, right?
Yeah.
I saw that too. It was okay. Both.
Yeah.
Book, movie, okay. They were okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a hell of a long book. Like 900 pages or so, something like that.
I just got a DVD of the old miniseries of the Tommyknockers from the 90s.
The Tommyknockers.
I have vivid memories of when it aired, but I can't remember it at all. So we're going to see how bad it is. I think you could honestly say that's almost a whole genre of its own now at this point, just Stephen King adaptations. I don't know how many movies need to be in something for it to be considered a subgenre, but Jesus, man, when you're looking at 3 adaptations of one book sometimes, You got to start considering it.
You know what just came out digitally that I totally forgotten about, but I watched when I was younger, was that TV miniseries of The Shining that Stephen King prefers over the Stanley Kubrick thing.
Yes, yeah. I have it. I own it with the guy from...
That only just recently came out digitally. So
that's the guy from Children of the Corn, I believe, is in that. Not the guy from Wings, the guy who looks like him from Children of the Corn. Yeah. I think. You know which one I really love that doesn't get enough praise? 1408. Did you see that with John Cusack and Samuel Jackson? No. If you ever come across that one, I'm not a big fan of haunting movies. Like, haunted house movies don't do much for me, but this one scared me. This actually freaked me out. And I will watch it every Halloween season, and every time I watch it, it freaks me out just a little bit. If you do watch it, there are 2 versions out there. Please, for the love of God, watch the longer one. They fucked with the ending because they thought people wouldn't like it, and they really ruined the fucking ending. But fortunately, almost every streaming service, everywhere you find it, it's the good ending. But
was the good ending the theatrical ending, or did they mess with it after that?
I don't remember. I think they fucked it up for the theatrical ending, but then when they put it on cable, they put the original ending on it. And it was one of those things where, like, you didn't realize that it didn't end this way until they put both versions on disc. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But the good ending is really good.
Mandela effect kind of thing.
Yeah. The good ending is really good. The special effects are really good. And Samuel Jackson is really fucking good too. I got it. He's not in it a lot, but he's really fucking good. Yeah. Check that one out, man. Yeah, that was a short story. A lot of his short stories make better movies than the novels do, for obvious reasons. Hell, there was...
I don't know what would make it obvious.
What do you mean?
Well, what would make it obvious that a short story would make a better movie than a novel would, let's say?
Well, a short story is meant to be contained in a smaller format. It usually has fewer characters. It usually has less backstory. It usually has doesn't have subplots that are sometimes required to color the content of the main plot. And when you adapt a novel, like the doorstops he writes sometimes, you know, you have to do things like combine characters, write out characters, and you always end up losing something. And he's terrible at writing endings on his longer stories, I think. And he's much better. His endings are much better on his short stories. Much, much better. And that helps films. Even though you got me
thinking now. I don't really like the ending of The Shining. I don't like the ending of 11/22/63. I don't like the ending of, oh man, wow. Blowing my mind here. Hold on.
and on top of that, the endings that they rework for films are usually better than the endings in the novels. Like there's one of his books is one of my favorites, Needful Things, which they made into a movie with Max von Sydow and Ed Harris. The ending in the book is so fucking bad, I actually got mad. And I read it not too long ago. I did this thing where I'm like, all right, I'm going to catch up on all his early shit that I missed, you know? And I read that, and I honestly got mad at the man. Like, I was going to write him an email. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Wow.
30 years ago, what were you thinking? Like, it just...
If you write to him on X, I'm sure he'll reply.
The ending might as well have been like, okay, the bad guy turns into a fucking pumpkin and flies off into the sky. Like, that might as well have been how he decided to end it. I was furious. But, like, that's a great example of things they have to change when they make a movie, and it takes something away. Like, you saw Stand By Me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kiefer Sutherland, the bad guy, the evil punker kid, right? His name was Ace Merrill. In the novel, he's like, it's like a sequel to that almost, because it's him as like an older alcoholic, you know, ex-con. And he's one of the main antagonists in the book. But because they didn't want to tie it to Stand By Me when they made the movie, he wasn't in it. He just wasn't in it, you know? And I get it, but you still lose something. And man, wouldn't it have been cool if they could have got Kiefer Sutherland back to play the same role again? I don't know. That's just whatever. All right. Well, 1408.
Yeah, we strayed off of American Beauty pretty far.
We got real far. I don't know how we got. I'm looking back, trying to wonder how the fuck we got here.
I have no idea how we got from American Beauty to Stephen King. But,
I don't know. We completely missed Office Space. We were supposed to, whatever. We don't have to talk about Office Space. It explains itself. Is that another one you haven't seen in a long time? Office Space.
Oh, how long ago did I see Office Space? I don't know. I think of the Mike Judge movies, it's the one I've seen the least. Like,
okay.
you know, I've seen Idiocracy a lot more. I've seen Beavis and Butthead Do America a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I certainly remember Office Space pretty well.
I remember in college.
I'm addicted to crack. I used to do, now I sell magazine subscriptions.
Oh, that guy was everywhere for a while.
Oh, yeah. The Replacements, the 7-Up commercials.
What the fuck was his name?
Orlando
Jones.
Was it Orlando Jones?
I think so. Yeah, he was in that weird Evolution movie with David Duchovny. Did you see? That's one of my. I kind of like that movie a lot. With Julianne Moore. Right. It's one of my like guilty pleasures. I do kind of like that stupid thing.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out. I don't remember much about it, but yeah.
Now, Office Space. I remember a lot of people in college had that. I watched it more than I wanted to. I did get kind of sick of it after a while, but
I mean, you can't really rewatch comedies that many times, you know, like
it depends. Yeah, some comedies I can, but they're very, very few and far between.
It's got to be really intelligent or really deep comedy. I don't know. Like, I can watch Ghostbusters. I mean, I don't watch Ghostbusters all that often, but I probably could watch it, you know, 1,000 times and spot something, you know, I haven't seen every time I watch it, you know, but could you watch like an Old School or an American Pie like 1,000 times before it gets old? No, you could not.
But you can watch Anchorman 1,000 times. I can.
No, I don't know. I've seen that like twice. And for some reason, like, I really got to rewatch that because everybody in my life quotes that movie all the time.
I know it by heart. Like, one more recent is like my wife and I have a few, especially from when we were first living together. Shit we would watch all the time. Like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. We watched that a lot. A lot of Judd Apatow movies also. And Zach and Miri Make a Porno. We watched that a lot. A lot. We got to talk about that movie one day.
Sure. Or Kevin Smith in general.
Yeah. We could do a Kevin Smith rundown. Yeah. And we're Jersey kids. We're entitled to judge.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. All right, cool. Next time.
Next time.